In an incredible display of bravery, thousands of college students filled American campuses over the weekend to support the cries of freedom in Iran. Just take a look at some of the video. Now, guys, play the video of the protests. Oh, no, there is, according to the control room, no video. We don't have any video because it never happened. What we do have is all those college protests that came after the October 7th massacre in Israel. Thousands of protesters took to their campuses, beat people up, took over buildings to condemn the Israeli government. But now, as the Iranian regime kills their own citizens fighting for freedom, those same college students and feminists are totally silent. They may be mourning the idea of the Iranian uprising, and it is because of something called the Red-Green Alliance. Frannie Block, reporter for the Free Press, been looking into this and joins us now. This is the idea, right, that the socialist neo-Marxist movement in the world and the expansionist Islam movement in the world is joining, and that really is what sort of this tension comes from and these protests come from, not something about Gazan civilians. Seems obvious. What is the proof of that now?
Well, I think the best proof of this, if you just look at college campuses over the past few years, in the wake of the October 7th massacre in Israel, you were seeing college students waving Hezbollah flags, praising Yahya Sinwar. These are students who claimed to be standing up for social justice, and yet they were supporting some of the worst terrorist organizations and worst terrorist leaders in the world. And I think part of that is that over the last few years, even decade, you've seen the prevalence of this narrative to view the world, to view it through the eyes of the oppressor and the oppressed. And in this very kind of simple narrative, a country like Israel is the oppressor and Gazan civilians are viewed as the oppressed. But this expands to Muslims all over the world, and it is perceived through this very simple structure that Muslims who are fighting against oppressors like the Israelis, for example, in air quotes, they are fighting against
they're somehow virtuous.
An evil force.
Yeah, right. But and you can kind of see that through the oppressor worldview lens. Maybe wrong and screwed up, but it is there. You then translate that to you have the greatest feminist revolution in history, which would be rising up against the Iranian regime that treats women as property and beats or kills women when they don't wear hijabs. And yet the feminists in America are totally silent about it. And that's where I can't figure out how that becomes the narrative.
Well, why are people silent? Because this oppressor-oppressed narrative that has become so prevalent, that has become the foundation of how so many of these activist groups view the world and view what's going on in the world, it doesn't work here. And so that is why I think you don't see people flooding the streets trying to support those who are risking their lives to fight for freedom in Iran. It's because this very simple worldview, it doesn't work. It messes with the worldview. It actually brings a lot of it into question. And because of that, I think you're seeing a lot of people just ignore it instead.
So when the worldview breaks down, or when the events of the world, which is people risking their lives to stand up to the Ayatollah, when that breaks the worldview, then their worldview of the oppressed oppressor is more important than actually standing up for the oppressed.
Unfortunately, I think we're seeing the manifestation of that. When the framework breaks down, it's easiest just to ignore the holes in the framework rather than to scrutinize the framework you've based your entire worldview on.
Right, and then that extends to Mamdani and others. The socialist world construct and then the Islamist, is it a marriage of convenience?
It's a great question. I think in some ways you can talk to people who say it's actually been a deliberate marriage. It's been a years-long effort to try to infuse Islamist ideology into hyper-progressive ideology as well. And so some people would say this didn't just happen by chance, but it was very deliberate, and it's been happening for decades.
Well, and no better example of that than the United Kingdom, right? Where the Labour Party just vetoed a law that made you not be able to marry your cousin because the Islamists didn't like it. Frannie, thank you very much. We'll talk to you soon.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, for sure.
Thank you for watching. Subscribe below and download our NewsNation app right now on your phone, and you will get fact-based, unbiased news for all Americans.